Hello, aloha. Hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer, and I am from the Tohono Nation. I'm so happy to be with you all here today at Sissy Unci Auntie. We have a great show lined up for you today. And before we start, I want to get this just off the top out of the way to let you know we are so grateful to be partnering with Paul from PowWows.com to help us bring this show to you today, this live stream. And also, we want to acknowledge Native Moves Productions to be a partner in Sissy Unchi Aunties and allowing us to have this live stream available for all of you. If you're watching live, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're watching us in the replay, thank you so much also for joining us. If you would like to comment, please do. We usually go through and rewatch the show and try to comment or at least like your comments. And don't forget to join us for the next Sissy Unchi Aunties Live, which will be on May 8th at 12 noon Hawaii time, 3 p.m. for Pacific Standard Time. Again, my name is Jennifer. I am from the Tohono Nation, and I am coming to you today from Kaneohe, which is in the illegally occupied Kingdom of Hawaii on the island of Oahu. And at this time, I'd like to bring on our co-host. So I'd like to bring Avril on. So Avril, can you join me and also introduce yourself? Yay! Go ahead, Avril.
Yay! Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing
You
one, two,
can.
three. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody. Hio home takiape, Ava Cordovi machiape, Malakota and Tels Pueblo. My Thama is Joseph Conquilla Cordova. My Ina or my cause, Patricia Crow Cordova. I'm sixth generation from Chief Red Cloud. I'm the owner operator of AC and Associates. I'm a mother, daughter, community member, and I'm honored to share space with you all here. I am so thankful and happy to be here, and I'm excited for the show because we have an amazing um, guest, uncle, father, community member who's going to be joining us shortly. And today we're honoring Unci Maka. So if you don't know what Unci Maka is, that's Grandmother Earth. Um, um, what's that day coming up soon? Um,
Earth Day.
Earth Day. Thank you. Earth Day is coming up soon. So we thought that we would honor her. She gives us everything we need: food, medicine, water to keep us alive. And I know a lot of things have been happening, from earthquakes to an eclipse and all that other things that are happening. But those are just the things that are happening. We need to make sure that we take care of her so she takes care of us. When earthquakes and all those floods and things happen, I'm always like, she's mad, she's mad. But there are things, and we'll talk about later on the show, that we can do to make sure that we pay respect to her, to pay respect to our earth, our environment. And I'm just thankful to be here. So again, my name is Ava Cordova. I'm Taos Pueblo on my father's side, Oglala Lakota on my mother's side, and I'm streaming in from Tongva Territory, which is in the Los Angeles, California area. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Okay, so if you are new here, it's your first time joining us on our live stream, I wanted to let you know that every single time we do a live stream, we always start in a good way. We start off with prayer. It's something that is important to us. I know for myself that whenever I attend a meeting and we don't start off with prayer, I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here? But it's something that April and I have been very adamant about, that we have to start off in a good way. So at this time, I'm going to let April lead us in prayer, an opening prayer. Thank you, April.
You're welcome. So, what I have here is some California white sage that I've harvested myself. And I know local areas, like I told you earlier, there is Mother Earth provides us with everything that we need, from medicine to water to food. And I locally harvested this in Los Angeles area. I always want to let you know that you shouldn't buy sage, or you shouldn't buy from somebody that you don't know, or manufactured medicine, because you don't necessarily know what type of energy they're putting into that harvesting. They might have bad energy. They might have, you know, not good intentions. And when I go out, I usually go with somebody, a friend, a family member. Sometimes I have went by myself, and I always offer the plants something, because we don't just take without giving back. So I usually harvest it, wrap it. While I'm doing that, I sing, I pray, and today we're going to start again, like Jen said, in a good way. So let me go ahead and say a prayer. This is called smudging. When you bring it to you, you smudge. There's no wrong way to smudge over your eyes, over your ears, over your mouth. Your eyes, your ears to hear good things, your mouth to say good things, on your heart to feel good things. A lot of people do it. Navajos start from the bottom with their feet. You know, there's different ways that different tribal nations smudge or pray. And if you don't pray, that's fine. However, I'd like to say some good words for you, for our stream, for our technology. So here we go. Creator, I come to you today with open hearts and open minds, thankful for the many blessings that you provide us on a minute, monthly, second basis, from the ability to walk, talk, be here today, to gather in good spirit, for a good time, some laughs, some information. Um, I'm thankful, Creator, that you have allowed me another day to open my eyes, another day to breathe, another day to pray, another day to be in community. Um, I say, Wopila, Ta'a, Pila Mayaye, Gracias, Atiehet. Thank you, Creator, for um, just another day of the small blessings for me to be able to walk, talk, to all those little things that we might that I might um not that I might take that I might forget some days. Creator, I'm thankful to be here in this space, in this virtual space. I ask that you watch over my family, my friends, my community, those that are watching now in the live or in the replay. May you continue to keep them healthy, wealthy, and safe, Creator. If they're struggling with addiction, homelessness, anything, Creator, I ask that you watch over them, surround them with love, make them feel and know that another day is coming, and that somebody loves them. If they haven't been told today that I love them, Creator, that I'm praying for them, and I'm thankful that they're here with us virtually. Creator, may you watch over this live. May it reach many homes, many reservations, many hearts. And Creator, I just ask you to continue to uplift our communities, Turtle Island. Continue to be there for others as you have been there for me. Ta'a, pilamayaye, gracias, etiehet, jonasle, 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 jonasle. Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much for allowing me and taking some time to um, be here today, and allowing to hear that prayer, Creator. Um, Ta'a, the end.
Thank you. Thank you, April. I appreciate that. And I felt that I'm fortunate that I have picked some California white sage in one of my trips there. So while you were praying, I was praying too, especially over our technology. Over here on my side of the island, when it gets windy and stormy, my internet tends to come in and out. So we're putting that shield over us so that we are protected and connected. So I know next we're going to go on to the land acknowledgement, which I'm going to do, and then after that, I have a little thing that I want to share. Um, so I said earlier where I was streaming from, and I want to say that again. I want to acknowledge that I am on the illegally occupied Kingdom of Hawaii, and I'm coming from the island of Oahu in the city of Kaneohe. And I, I am a fan of social media. I think that it can do obviously some negative things, but it can also do some very positive things. And for me, I've been able to become educated about many, many indigenous tribes and indigenous people. And I was recently found out over here, there's an annual festival, the Merry Monarch, and it is a time of joy and celebration where all the different hula dancers they come together, and there's like a competition. For us in Native way, I guess you could think of it as a powwow, like the gathering of nations. Um, and you're judged on a variety of things, just as we are in powwow. Um, But on that, uh, I was able to hear from somebody who gave like a little bit of historical background, and also shared that before Hawaii was considered a state, they had treaties with many other nations. They were a sovereign nation, as you know, just as all of our tribes were sovereign nations. Hawaii was a sovereign nation, and they actually had treaties with other countries that were considered the Hawaiian Kingdom and their own nation. Um, and I think that that's amazing. And it's just something that I wanted to share with everybody. The second thing that I wanted to share really quick was that recently I was very privileged to be able to go on a family vacation to Sydney, Australia. And I took part in the bridge climb, the Sydney Bridge climb, and I went on the Indigenous tour. And it was so interesting to hear some of the stories and some of the similarities between the indigenous people of Australia and our indigenous folks here on Turtle Island. And it just warmed my heart to know that like we're all connected. Um, so that's all I wanted to say about that. April, if you are able to come back on and join us, I think it's coming pretty close time to bring in our special guest. Am I right?
Yes, we're very excited to bring you an amazing individual that I've worked with in the past. He is the uncle or the father that's joining us today. You know, this is our show is called Sissy, Unci, and Aunties, which means Sissy, a little sister, Unci, which means grandmother, and Aunties, those aunties that you have all over the place that can make you laugh, that can be stern with you, that can feed you good food. But we also want to recognize our uncles, our fathers, our dads, those individuals that are doing great work around community. And this individual, I have worked with him in the past and hope to work with him in the future. He, it brings a lot of great culture, a lot of great teachings, a lot of great skills to Indian country all over all over Turtle Island. And if you're interested in contracting with him, please, he's a great person to sing a song or to give a teaching. And we're gonna go ahead and bring him on now. The amazing boo 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 Brian Frejo. Hi, Brian.
Noah, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. This is so cool.
Wow, you're
Thank
out
you.
in
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah, you said Earth Day. You
Yes.
guys said Earth Day, so I'm like, yeah, it's that time of year, springtime, it's new year, it's new season right here. So I'm really blessed, and I'll tell you more about that where I'm at.
Uh,
Awesome. I love it.
So there's a lot of things that you do, Brian. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you, about what you do, about how people can get in contact with you, about your recent tour. Tell us a little bit about you right now, and then we'll jump into a couple of questions, and then you could tell us where you're at also.
Okay, I asked to introduce myself. Say Noah. Anyway, dude, hey, that is Brian Frejo, Skeety, Chawi, Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma. That's the wolf and the the Warrior Society leaders of the Pawnee Nation, and Nukazogi Seminole. That's the Bear Clan of the Seminole people. My dad is Pawnee, and my mom is Seminole. Mom's from Wewoka, Oklahoma. My dad was from Pawnee. That's where he was born, grew up, and then they moved to Oklahoma City. So I'm from South OKC, otherwise known as Tornado Alley. You guys have probably seen it on the Weather Channel. That's my home. That's where I come from. That's where I grew up, and learned to be really connected to the environment, to the community. To the place that I lived. With the elements, the wind, the clouds, the lightning, and the thunder. That's what we're known for there, and those storms. And so I had a real strong connection to that growing up. So anything that has to do with nature, the earth, the elements, I love that. And now I live out and blessed to live out in SoCal, relocated. I lived here in the 90s for a while doing movies and entertainment. All through the 90s, I did a bunch of movies and TV shows. And then I left, took a break, went back to the Midwest for almost 20 years, and then came back in 2019. So now I've been here since 2019. I can't believe it. Like 2021, 2, 3, 5 years already. I don't know if the COVID years count. Those should count like as half a year because we didn't get to do much. So now that's where I'm at. Now I'm really blessed. I was looking for a really nice place to live, and there's so many people here. It's hard to find a good location and where there's nature around. So they like to develop everywhere, but I was blessed to find a place after looking for like 3 or 4 months. That's where I'm at. Laguna Hills area. Laguna Hills, Lake Forest area is what it's called. You can see all these trees here. I'm pretty sure this is probably some sacred site to one of the tribes that was around here, because there's a lot of, they didn't develop this whole area. There's lots of trees, eucalyptus, pine. I'm not sure what all these trees are right here, but this is close to where I live. So I figured if I could be outside and get a connection, I'd be good to go. So that's where I'm at, up in the hills. Just go down the hill and you see the palm trees and hit the beach.
Down the hill to the right, past the big tree, is where you're at, huh?
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah.
Past
um,
the taco stand and you're good to go.
I wanted to ask you a question in your introduction. You mentioned that you were an actor and that you've done, some film work. What is there anything recent that we can see you on, or that we can look for?
Yeah, well, like the entertainment industry is very very competitive. So, you have to be in the place where it happens. I'm in California, so I'm glad to be here. Haven't been acting as much as I did back in the past, but I was able to book a Disney commercial during the pandemic, and it was really cool that this Disney commercial was promoting Native American heritage, and so they showed it a lot over the last 2 years. I actually just got another check, so they showed it overseas and all over different parts of the world, and so I thought it was really cool. Natives from all different tribes, and then recently, which was pretty crazy because like I've been really busy with work. The work that I do keeps me pretty busy. Right after the Oscars, because you guys know it was pretty big this year with Killers of the Flower Moon, which I got to audition for. I auditioned for that about 3 times for the FBI agent that Tatanka Beans got cast for. So I was glad that at least somebody I knew got cast for that. So that was cool to see a native in that role, because it was a real character, that he was portraying. And so right after the Oscars, the Killers of the Flower Moon was up for some Oscar awards, and the next day they started screening some movies in LA, and some people started messaging me saying that, hey, I saw your movie, man. I saw your movie, and I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what movie? And they're like, oh, they told me the name, and I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, are you sure it was me? And they're like, yeah, it's you, man, it's you. And I was like, okay. And so I found out they were saying the wrong name to the movie. They were saying The Heart Remains, and then the movie, that was a documentary, I think, back in the day. But the name of the movie was The Heart Stays, and it was a film that came out the day after the Oscars. It was screened all around Hollywood, LA, because the producer, director, writer was Osage. So I'm sure they pretty much strategically planned to show that film, and then it actually came in theaters nationally on March 26th. And it's an independent film. The director, she did a great job, but I filmed this like over 7 years ago. So when everyone was telling me like, yeah, your movie's out, it's in Hollywood, I was like, whatever. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And we had lost touch with the director. I'd asked her before COVID, before the shutdown, if she was trying to finish it, because I know they, cost a lot of money to finish a film. It was independent, and I know she was still trying, but we never heard anything else. And then I finally got an email after I had got some messages about that film. So I was pretty, I guess, pretty excited, pretty pumped up to hear that it came out. And then producer director from UCLA, Hane Gigama, he does native studies, native film, cinema. He's been there for a long time. He's really known in the education system in California State Universities. And he sent me a message, and he's like, "Man, I really like the film." And he's pretty hardcore critical of native films, because he was a part of producing a lot of films in the 90s. And he said he really liked it, and everyone did a great job. And I thought that was so awesome. Made me feel good that he liked it, and he liked what everyone did in the film, and that it was native produced and directed. So yeah, I was pretty excited. I'm still kind of like, don't know what to think, because I didn't know about it and I haven't seen it. Like I haven't even seen it. So I think it's might be coming out on Apple TV or Prime. I'm not sure. I don't even have that information yet. But yeah, that's just something recent that happened. And then I was watching yesterday on my Max, streaming, that The New World was on there too. It's one of the top 10 films on Max. And so I've only seen that film like, I think, maybe twice in my life, and I was in it. And so I was watching it yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, my brother's in it, my sister's in it, like a couple other my friends are in it. And I was watching it yesterday, like, oh my gosh, this movie's really good. They did a really great job. The story's they changed the story a little bit from the true story, but that happens.
Well, thank you for sharing with us all the great things. And everybody go check out Brian on those platforms. And also, if you want to check him out, visit his website. I'm sure you're open to, different things. I know you had mentioned to me that you were on the road doing a tour, right?
Yes, that's my big project for this year. I had a vision and a dream about doing a music tour and doing something different, that brought the community together, that addressed things happening in our communities, that we're seeing. There's still a lot happening this post COVID. There's a lot of loss. There's a lot of drug and alcohol addictions impacting our communities. Like, we're losing a lot of people. There's grief. And then there's also our culture and our traditional ways, our songs and dances. All of that kind of together was what I saw in my mind. And I was like, I'm going to do these shows. I'm going to bring these shows to the community, and I'm going to bring that culture. I'm going to bring a message. I'm going to bring dancers. I'm going to bring that traditional, culturally rooted, ways of life that we have and music. I'm going to DJ. I'm going to DJ and perform and bring other performers, in each different area to come and perform. So I kind of had the dream vision, started kind of putting it together, and then I did one show in Native American Month. And kind of tested out, and everybody really liked it. And then I brought the drum, I brought jingle dress dancers, um, had music, and then I did it again in January in Orange County. And I was like, I'm gonna get more details to this show, kind of really put it together how I want it to look. And then I did that, and so, man, it really, the response was amazing. Everyone loved it, and I wanted to see people dancing too, because like a lot of times people just stand around. And I was like, man, people want to dance. I've been going to powwows. The powwows are packed. They're dancing, and I know they want to get out. People aren't going out like they used to. We know that. So I was like, I'm going to create that space right here in these different, venues. And the last one I did, I had people dancing. They brought their families, their kids. They were dancing. You were there. You got to see it, and people had a good time. And bringing that message there too of our healthy communities, our communities getting through this together and supporting each other. And I had people come up and tell me, they had a really good, they were calling it a powwow. I was like, well, it's not really a powwow, but if you want a powwow dance party, I guess. I was like, that's cool. but it's called, and I was trying to think of a name, and the name just kind of came to me. When I get in that creative mode, I try to like stay in there and try to write a lot and write things down. And I was trying to think of a name, and I was just like, man, all these names are, trying to think of a name, and I was like, man, it's just like some beats and blessings. And then that became the name. So I called the Beats and Blessings Tour. And I just finished like 6 shows in the Midwest that were all so awesome, with the Shine in Arapahoe, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, um, and a couple of like live music venues. And every show's completely different, but it's the same concept. So I was really excited to see like how every show is just like has its own life. And now we have a show planned for Orange County again, Orange County, and then Los Angeles, East Los too, East LA. So it's all coming together, going to the White River Apache tribe to do an event there. So I told everyone, they're like, oh, how many shows you going to do? And I was like, man, I don't know, like maybe 40, 50. I was like, I'll set a goal 40, 50. And then if I get close, I'm good between now and New Year's Eve. So that's, if you guys can spread the word, let them know. Like, I'll do this show. I did it in a coffee shop. So like,
Nice.
we can do any venue.
That's awesome. And yes, I was at that event in January, and I was like it I didn't know what to expect. However, when I went, it was very family friendly. I brought one of my closest sisters and my niece, and she's only 2 years old, and she was dancing around, and then they invited some friends and had some kids there. So it is very family friendly. There was a taco truck and vendors. That just leads us into our first question, which, could you share any inspiring success stories um, or initiatives from your work that demonstrate the power of community engagement? And this just answers, I think, the first question that we have. But is there something that you might want to share that is an inspiring success story?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm kind of looking around right now, and I see people doing so many different, um, using their gifts. They're doing so many different things out here in the world, and they're making music, they're making films, they're writing. I have seen people starting well-briety circles, for drug and alcohol prevention, and that's community right there. All of those things that are happening in all these different communities, reservations, cities. I went to a couple well-briety when I was in Oklahoma. One guy had it was like a little office, and he just started it a few months ago, and he had like 10 people there. And he's like, yeah, we got some snacks, and I just showed up, I wanted to support. And the week before, him and a couple other people had come to our sweat lodge. So like that connection, from like he found out about the sweat from somebody else. So that connection is strong in the communities, and then you see people out there, trying to make something happen. And then after that talking circle, well, Brighty, 2 days later, he brought like 6 people to the event with the Shine and Arapahoes, and they sang. They brought some singers that sang at the drum. So I was like, man, like this is so much bigger than kind of what I originally thought, what I wanted to do, my vision for this. And so like those success stories, I have put on a artist from Oklahoma. She's Comanche, Numina, and she moved to Austin, Texas to do music. She's been performing. She connected with another performer, another young guy who's Ponca and Pawnee from Oklahoma, who made it on The Voice. He was one of the finalists on The Voice. And so they're kind of collaborating on music and trying to get some, make some things happen. So I feel like all of those pieces are connecting in some way. We're helping each other, supporting each other along the way. And but really to see like healthy groups be started, healthy circles, talking circles, well-briety, events like the one that I did. And then other people telling me like, hey, we're going to do this event, like, can you come out? Are you available? And I'm like, yeah, just let me know the dates, if I can help out, if I can support, that's what I want to do. So, and I just did an event last weekend. It was for grief and remembrance of community that had passed on, that hasn't happened since before COVID. And so I was there to be a part of that event, and it was really powerful. And to see all these people come out and share their stories, of their family members, and finally being recognized, acknowledged in the community, and then having support to share their stories. And people were shedding tears, crying. There was food, we had food, everyone got fed. And then we had a fire ceremony, we had a cedar blessing, and I just felt really good to be a part of that, to see that. That was in Milwaukee. And so that's what they're doing right there in their community for their people. And there's more that's happening probably that I don't even know about, but from my own personal experience, that was through a program, mental health, behavioral health program that put that together. And I was just one of the people that helped to facilitate and to share and do the cedar blessing and share some songs. And I used to work there probably about 5 or 6 before in 2016 to 8 to 19. And to see some of the kids that were singing at the drum were in my drum class, and they were leading the songs. And to me, that right there, like, that just kind of just gave me chills. Felt real good in my heart. I felt real blessed to see them, just they're taking the lead, and they were just sitting there at the drum singing those songs. And I was like, man, told them I was really proud of them, and keep singing and stay around that drum. So that's just right there a few success stories that I think of, off the top of my head.
Yeah, you say about saying to somebody that you're proud of them, or, it's good to see them. When I went to your event in January, you were behind the DJ, the turntables, and you were doing round dances and stuff, and you're like, Cody, take it away, and I was like, man, that guy looks so familiar. That young man looks so familiar. So I'm always like the kind of person that if somebody's doing something, I was just at Boys for Braids, Boys for Braids conference this weekend at Pachanga, and there was this lady that was dancing, and she was just dancing. She got up there, and nobody asked her, and Cody was out there dancing when you were dancing, and I wanted to go up to him, that this young man that I didn't know, from afar. So I went up to him, and I just wanted to introduce myself and tell him the same thing. I'm proud of you. And he was like, you don't recognize me? And I was like, he's all, it's Cody. And I was like, oh my gosh, Cody. Because I have had in the past through you worked with him, and to see him just out in community, to see him leading stuff, I was like, I'm so proud of you. I not worried about you, but I prayed for you. I prayed for your success. I prayed for your life. And although people might not know that you're in their thoughts and prayers, he was in my thoughts and prayers. And I pray just for community in general, just like how we opened the show. And it was so good to see him. So just this question, just the power of community engagements, the power of that sober event that you did, bringing people together through music, through tradition. And when I saw him, I gave him this big old tight hug, and I was just like, I'm just so proud to see you, and that you're doing well, and that you're here. And he was just like thankful, So I just appreciate all of those things that you do. And, we me as well, I have like this little dream or this little thought of doing something, and then with the support and help of my community, of my friends, of my sister, of Jen, of you, these things can come alive, and they bring out just the best of people. And although people might be going through things or struggling through things, it's always the power of community that helps inspire success or things like that. So I just want to say to you, thank you, and continue to do this great work, and I'm here to support you. That's it, the end.
Yeah, that support, is so critical, in the community, because sometimes they're like, oh, there's no support, but when you start doing those events and you see other people joining in and like, hey, we're doing this over here, Sacred Path, UAII, CNVP, all these different organizations, you guys, ACN Associates, and the work that you're doing over the last couple of years, the events that we've done, it's all connected, and kind of feel like it keeps getting stronger and bigger. Now, like, people are coming all the way down from LA for events down here in Orange County. And I was like, that's cool, man. You guys, thanks for coming, And then now finally we get to go to LA, East Los, and do some events over there. And there's another event a guy's putting on that I'm going to DJ and perform at, and I think it's in June. But yeah, those connections are just like happening, you know, as we keep moving around, we keep moving in these different spaces, we start connecting, building a bigger circle, extended family, you know. And I feel like now, like I've traveled around so much different communities through working with youth programs and drug and alcohol prevention, suicide prevention, you know, gangs, culture, identity, teamwork, team building, all that stuff. Like it's just kind of taking me on a journey, and it all kind of stopped there for a little while with COVID. You know, it was kind of, everything just kind of stopped, and was trying to like get through that, navigate through that time. And then I just kind of kind of started getting those thoughts and visions. And because the program I used to do, or that I was doing before, is called the Power of Vision, and then I
Mm.
turned it into the Power of Vision and Action. And so that's what I've been doing now. It's the same mentality, it's the same mindset, it's the same, like my process. When people ask me, you know, well, how did you do this, or how did you do that, you know, and I go to this, well, this is how I do it. It's my kind of my formula, but it first comes from a dream or like that vision, and then along right after that is a prayer. So that prayer is what kind of sets it in motion, and then and maybe it takes me a week to make it happen, or 6 months, or a year. But once that it gets set in motion, you know, through that prayer and then that belief system, because right now I really talk about belief systems in mental health and substance use, addiction, recovery, suicide prevention, awareness. It's a belief systems. You know, what's our belief system? And maybe you didn't grow up with one. Maybe you never learned one. Maybe you didn't have a strong one. A lot of different reasons, you know. But you find it now. You find it now in your life. You know, what do you believe in? What do you really believe in? And believe in yourself. You know, believe in your gifts, your talents. So start to build that strong belief system, and you can go out there and like do anything. Cody's got a full-time job. You know, he's working with
Yeah.
helping people get housing. You know, and I'm like, dang, dude. I was like, I told you you're gonna get a job. I told you something was gonna happen. And he just kept on, you know,
Yeah.
punching away. And you know, now that's what him and actually a few of them that are they're all doing that, can barely get a hold of them now because they're all working full time. And so it's pretty cool to see, you know, like those are inspiring to me.
Yeah, definitely. And I know Jen has our next question for you, and it goes right into it. You talked about tradition, and if you're not aware, but go ahead, Jen.
Thank you. First, I just want to say, Brian, it's so great to see you. I haven't seen you in like a year, I think, or even longer, when we got together for that event in Los Angeles that you were there.
Hmm.
And you talking, Brian and I have worked in the youth space. I've taken a step back. I'm more now in the filmmaking space, but hearing you talk brought up all these memories of like unity and like just different times of being able to um watch young people grow and develop. And it's like it's such a rewarding feeling. It's just I was right there with you on your story. So but my question is going in a different direction, more focused on Earth Day. Can you share with us some traditional teachings or some wisdom specifically from your tribes regarding a relationship with Mother Earth?
Yeah, you know, like a lot of our tribes have so many different stories and beliefs, you know, the creation stories. Like that's why I wanted to be outside, because I've been really like fixing my patio too, because it's just recently started getting warmer. It's kind of too cold to sit out there some nights. So I've been fixing it up, table, plants, like my chairs and everything. And then I was like, I got to get outside. So I've been outside a lot this week. And with that, first started with that eclipse, you know, and that everyone was going to be outside. They wanted to see this. And you know, our tribe believes that there was in our creation story of the first male that was created was from the sun and the moon. And so they crossed paths, you know, they crossed paths like this week. And then to see that, how powerful it is and how everybody felt, you know. And like I took a group, I was outside, and we went outside, and man, like the temperature dropped like literally like about 10 degrees. Like the temperature just dropped, and then the wind started blowing, and it felt good to me. Like I liked it. It wasn't that cold, but some people are like, it's cold, man, it's gonna get cold out here. And I was like, it'll be all right, you know, it's not gonna last that long. And just sat out there and just watched it, you know, and then put prayers up, put good thoughts up, you know. What are we doing right now? What's our goals? What's our purpose? You know, and because this only happens, you know, I think every 20 years or something like that. But for us, that's part of that creation story where something was created at that time. And so just that being outside and being able to share those stories and where are people's minds, what are you thinking right now, in your life and where you want to be, where you're going. And then I brought this right here. I brought some sweetgrass,
Mm.
we talk about,
Mhm.
guys can see it right there.
Yeah.
This is I grew some sweetgrass the last couple years, started a little sweetgrass garden. And, I wanted to, I grew some tobacco, I grew some sweetgrass, grew some sage. And then, then when I moved, I had to take out all my sweetgrass and now I got to start over again. But just, to have it, and to just smell it, and that it's, that's a connection to the earth. We call her earth, Atida Hudadu, the mother earth, and that connection to this earth. Our ancestors would walk these lands. They were all around. They say our people were very nomadic, so we have a connection. So I always feel like I can make my home, anywhere I go. Like I have now in California. Like I made my home out here. I like how it feels to be here. I've always loved the ocean. I lived here in the 90s. That was one of my dreams, to live by the ocean. And so that's what I did in the 90s. And I was doing movies. That was like a couple of my dreams and goals were being fulfilled at that time. And it made me believe in it, believe in myself. And so now to come back out here and be living here again, out here in this beautiful part of the West Coast and the nature, some of the best part of the coast is where we're at, all the way up this whole coastline. It's some of the most, you know, like expensive places to live because I know the value. And these were all traditional native lands, before. And so we recognize that, the land acknowledgements, and just to be out here by these ruckus, these trees, all these trees, it's real peaceful. The birds are out. And so like those teachings, that of that sweetgrass, that was part of our culture. Like that sweetgrass was always part of our ceremonies, of our medicine bundles, because it represented the earth, it represented prayer, people's belief in the prayer, and they were braided together. They were together in that prayer. So that's why that sweetgrass braid, was always like that. That's what it represented. And then when you burn it, they say we burn it, let that smoke go up. That creator is going to know somebody's praying, somebody's using this medicine. He's going to look down here. It's called Atias de Waha, the supreme ruler of all creations, the creator is going to look down, see who's using that medicine, who's praying. It's going to look down and know, we're putting prayers up, putting thoughts up for ourselves, for our family, for our community, for our life. We know a lot of our, people are struggling too right now. So all these teachings that go along with the wellness of the community, our mental health, our community health. And that was part of what I wanted to do with this tour. It all relates. It's all connected, because my quote, I guess, was healing the mind, the body, the spirit, and community through movement, music,
Mm.
songs, dance. That's kind of what
Mhm.
was in my mind. So that's a
Mhm.
part of it, because I love music, dancing, and now I'm power dancing like the last going on 3 years now, almost every weekend, hitting like 40 powwows plus a year. And it's
Mm.
brought healing to me. It made me feel good. It kind of lifted my spirits up, like, okay, I'm around community, I'm dancing, like I feel
Yeah.
good. Now my brother, my nephew, my daughter, they're all going to start dancing. They're right now, like the next couple months. So it's pretty exciting that how it's all connected, to this earth, to these traditional teachings. If we got to reconnect to those teachings, research your tribe, talk to those elders, your relatives, your grandparents, grandmas, grandpas, whoever has the knowledge. Go ask them, visit with them, take them some tobacco, and sit down, talk with them. They'll share those stories.
For sure, for sure. And I'm really happy to hear that you're dancing again. Like that's, I know that it brings healing. I know that it's like it's, if anything, it brings community because you're out there, you're surrounded by your family, your friends, and to hear that your family is joining you, I think that that's great. Thank you for sharing with us about sweetgrass. April has the next question, so I'll turn it over to April. She'll ask you the next one.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, so the next question is, in what ways do you see our traditional practices aligned with modern environmental conservation efforts?
Yeah, like I'm seeing a lot of that now. You know, bridging those traditional teachings and, you know, our concerns with everything around us, whether it's the land, the air, the water, the the animals, the fish. Um, yeah, I'm on another group that I help with. I help facilitate. They're doing some amazing work in the Northwest. This is just one example that you know, they're trying to clean their rivers, the Willamette and the Columbia River basin, because it's affected their homelands, affected the salmon and the way that they move in the seasons, and the just the clean water. And so they're doing a whole project, and I've been able to work with them for about 2 years now with their it's like an indigenous advisory council from all these different areas around the Willamette River and the salmon. So that's their home, that's their life. You know, that's they want to clean it up, they want to take care of it, they want to preserve it for the next generations. And so I'm just facilitating all of these people together to work together as a group. You know, work together as a council, as a team, and to hear all the work that they're doing. Like there's some really young ones, like 20, 21 years old, just graduating from college, you know, doing environmental work, and that are all about their culture and how their relationship with the salmon, and how important that food is, you know, for their just sustaining their healthy way of life. And then what they're doing in their communities, starting to work with the city parks, you know, the state forest preserves, and the water people working with watersheds and taking care of the waterways. So to actually be a part of it and like kind of facilitating, but watching them do their work, and that's so important to them. You know, that we all are in our own communities. We all know what's happening in our own communities and what we need to, what can we do, you know. And so everybody, I'm glad that we have those people that step out there, you know, in the communities that do that work, whether it's for, you know, dealing with the pipelines or pollution or just clean water, healthy water. And I was told, you know, during the Standing Rock No Dapple, you know, when we step up to do that work, you know, to uh, be a part of that, advocate for that. They say be an activist or advocate, you know, for that kind of work. You know, you step up to do that. We're trying to make a change, and that we're putting prayers up. We're trying to do our part. That these elders said the water is going to heal. You know, so the water, the land, the animals, the fish, they're going to heal when we do that, and we have to believe that. You know, it may take a little while, but if we step up to do that work, they're going to heal. We don't have to worry, because over time it's all going to heal. It's going to heal itself, and through our prayers, through our work that we do on the ground, and through that belief system, again, like I said, you know, that it's going to be taken care of. So I'm really glad to be. That's one project that I'm helping out on, going into like the third year, which is I had done some work in the Northwest, so they knew me as a speaker with youth and conferences and stuff like that. And they're like, man, can you help us facilitate this group of community leaders? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can try, you know, like I'll try. And like, yeah, just you open it up, get it going. And then yeah, it was almost like icebreakers, and then building a team. And the same thing I've been doing for going on like over 25 years. And so I'm coming up on 30 years here pretty soon of doing this kind of work, and pretty exciting to me, you know, like I've been doing this for a while, and I'm following that same pattern, that same process and belief system that was instilled in me from my community, from my family, from my grandmas and grandpas and elders, and then a lot of mentors along the way, a lot of traditional people that shared things with me, that told me stories, you know, that sometimes I didn't know what they were talking about. You know, I had to learn it as I went into the future. You know, their stories made sense
Mm-hmm.
later. I didn't know at the
Yeah.
time, you know, what they were sharing, but you know, I was just like, you know, I ask a lot of questions. I'd be like, oh, what's that mean? Why do you do that? And then later on, you know, they're like, well, you'll know when it happens, you know. And so I feel like I'm still coming into that, you know, even though I've been doing it almost 30 years, I'm still learning, and that's what I want to do. Like that's one thing that they always said too: keep learning. Don't ever think you know. Oh, you know everything.
Mm-hmm. Were you
Sure.
able to be? Were you able to go out to No Dapple, or were you um, able to see that in person?
Yeah, well, I've been working with Standing Rock for like about 12 years before that with their substance use and their suicide prevention because they had a big suicide um, crisis up there for a while. So I'd done a lot of work up there. I was already familiar with the tribal leadership, the program directors, like all the programs. We sweated there every time we went. We did concerts and events in the casino. So I already knew the people when they started it, like Auntie LaDonna and Uncle Miles, who started it, the Sacred Stone Camp. And they said they wanted to do this and they need help, get the word out. And we said, okay, we'll let people know. And when there was like, 10 people there. And so we started letting people know. And I knew once they got there though, because that land it's really there's blessings in that land, that area along the Cannonball and the Missouri River. It's powerful, powerful land base. And people will feel it. I knew they would feel it, being Sitting Bull's community and a lot of other leaders that were there. Thunderhawk and a lot of other leaders that were from that community. And I knew people would feel it when they got there. So that's what happened. So I was able to be a part of that. We were there early. We had a camp. My brother, some other my bros and cousins got arrested. We had to go through that whole court system with them getting their cases and charges dropped and
Yeah.
dismissed. And that was a journey. So much happened during that time. And that's when I heard that story about no matter what, whenever if everyone leaves or whatever happens, the water's going to heal. And so, I had to believe that. I had to believe, that was true. And so, yeah, I was glad to be there, and I was there. I was there the day of the dogs. I seen it. I came up right after. I was praying before that. Actually, I wasn't there in the beginning of that, but I was praying, and we left that Sacred Stone Camp and went straight over there. And we got there right when they were running the security off, and then they were bringing in all the sheriffs and the helicopters and everything. And I was able to see that, and they said that day was a day of victory, because they ran them out of there off of that sacred land where they had desecrated those remains in that sacred area that they had dug up. And so it was powerful that night. It was like a giant village powwow. There was like every village, every camp had like fires going, like there was dancing, powwows, sweat lodges, there was peyote meetings, there was elders speaking that whole evening. And then it was really powerful. You could feel it, but they had disturbed those remains that day. So I knew it was like, man, we need to put prayers up, because a lot of people, they saw a lot after that night. They saw a lot of spiritual things after that happened. And so we just tried to keep that medicine burning, that the next 2 or 3 days. But yeah, I was glad to be there and be a part of that.
Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that you were there, but are a water protector. Jen, I
Mini
know.
Wachoni, Mini
Yeah,
Wachoni.
I know that Jen also is a water protector, and I recently saw this movie called Oyate. It's on Prime. Everybody needs to watch it. It's a great movie. It's a great documentary, and I'm so thankful for all the many nations that could have went to one place, and that just talks about what we're talking about today of taking care of Mother Earth, taking care of those waters. We don't want oil in to leak in those waters. Those are things that take care of us. So how are we going to protect them as, individuals, as tribes and our nations came together just for that? And I can hope, I not I can hope, but I hope that individuals that might be watching this today will go outside and take care of Mother Earth today. Maybe pick up some trash, maybe organize a beach, cleanup, or wherever you are in Turtle Island. Do something because she takes care of us. Mother Earth takes care of us, and it's not gonna heal right away. Just like it takes time to heal in general. So thank you so much for that story and letting us know the contribution that you made, not only today, not only yesterday, but the contribution that you're making for the future. Ta'a. That's it, Jen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Huh.
For sure. I have another question about that though. I wanted to know, Brian, were you there when the buffalo came? I don't know if you remember that when there were. I only saw it on social media. I wasn't there at that particular time. I was there, I think, in September um, of 2016. But there was a day when the all the people were behind the fence, sort of like the blocking area, and there were I think like security or something on the other side, and then all of a sudden like these buffalo came running, and the observers, all of the native people, all of the supporters, we were like just going wild and crazy, and so like you heard our prayer, and it was just like an amazing moment. And I'm just wondering if you remember that or if you were there when that happened.
Yeah, I remember that. One of my brothers was there. He was filming all of that. Myron Dewey, he did a lot of filming, and he did the Oyate, and he did all the drone footage. And he was telling me, I was watching like the live feeds because I was there for a while. Then I would leave, then I'd come back. So I was there at different times. But I remember them talking about that. On that. Our plains people have a strong connection to the buffalo, to the Tanaha, and they call it Tatanka. We call it Tanaha. That buffalo spirit is powerful. It recognizes our people, and we have that relationship with it. So I guess like, the people that don't understand that will never, comprehend, that way of life, that connection. And so when that happened, the people knew, those buffalo were showing that they saw what was going on. They knew what was happening because they're a part of all the ceremonies up there, all the sweat lodges, all the sun dances. Like that's all we eat is buffalo burgers at the casino. Like when we're over there, we eat that food, it's healthy foods, some of the healthiest food, the buffalo, the deer, the elk. But like that buffalo relationship is strong. That made me really happy to see, because the animals know, the animal spirits know, all the birds, all those spirits that are around, those ancestors, that connection is strong. And now after that, the community went through a lot, and but they're still there, they're still doing, they're still living their life. They've gone to a lot of like solar energy. They're doing some things to sustain their community, not just through the casino, but just through their land and their traditional ways. So that's really good to see. I'm really glad that some people may never go back there, but I'll probably always go back and be around that community and the people that I know there. They always treated me like family. So me and my family, they always treated us really good there. So, that's how we think of it, like the way we're
Mm-hmm.
welcome there, they're welcome back in Oklahoma or out here if they come here. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same. We keep that relationship, that bond strong.
Yeah, for sure. So I have another question for you. Will be it's along the same lines, but as a motivational speaker, as a person who is a community advocate and works with youth, how do you encourage the youth and communities to connect and protect the environment? If you have um, any specific tips, but what are things that we can do, or what are some things that you have shared with people, simple steps that they can do to help protect and connect with the earth?
Yeah, I always, think, wherever you live, find a way to connect with that land around you. Get outside, get off the couch, watching TV or your phone 24/7. Sometimes you just got to get out, go in the hills, go hiking, get outside. If you have a space, to grow any plants, that was really helped me a lot during the pandemic. I've done it before, but during the pandemic, it really helped me. It's like, I want to grow my own medicine. I'm going to grow this. I'm going to try to grow this sweetgrass. I'm going to try to grow this tobacco. I'm going to grow this sage. The sweetgrass and the tobacco, I mean, the sweetgrass and the sage grew pretty well, but I had to go out there with it and sit outside and talk to those plants and like water them, take care of them. That tobacco, it didn't grow the first year. it didn't grow. I grew it before in Milwaukee, and it grew really well there. Like that land is good land. Plus, I did it different at that time. But when I tried to grow it in California, I just thought I'm just gonna throw these seeds out here and just grow this, tobacco, and it just didn't grow. That first year, I was like, well, maybe, and I was like, well, maybe I didn't do it right. Maybe I need to spend more time
Mm,
with it, talk to it, because that's like an old medicine. The tobacco, when you grow it yourself and use it that way, they call it Indian tobacco because you grew it yourself.
mm,
You got the seeds, you took the time, and so it took me like 2 years to grow that. And when I very first it wasn't growing, I was like, dang, maybe I'm not praying hard enough. Maybe maybe he doesn't want me to have this tobacco. Maybe I haven't earned it or something. I was trying to figure out, and then I just kept on. It's like, come on, man, I just really, want to grow this tobacco. I want to take care of it. I want to use it, to help people. And then it grew little tiny little leaves, like this big, but it looked like when they're big, it looked like that, just a little miniature tiny version. And I was like, I
mm.
was looking at it, I was like, is that it? I was like, is that the tobacco? It was so small. I was like, is that some weed? I was like, and then I was looking at it, I watered it, and it kind of got a little bit bigger. And I was like, well, maybe not. And then I didn't go out for a couple days. And then I went out that next like 2 days, 2 or 3 days later, and it was this big.
Mm.
It was like overnight, it grew like this big. And I was like,
Ah.
wow. Like that's when I knew, that tobacco, it knows that has a relationship with it, because we use it for prayers. We use it when people are really struggling, in their life, they're trying to heal, so that I would encourage the young people to, explore that, and out in
Mm,
nature, go out, walk in the woods, go to the water. If you live by the lake, the river, you go out there and sing some songs, pray, sit down, build a fire, talk by the water, those areas, go to the beach, jump in the water. I tell people, jump in the water, you'll feel a connection real quick, because that water could be really cold, or it just feels good, or and then you connect with that water, you jump in it like that, it kind of shocks your spirit and your body, and then you're right there. It kind of puts you in the present right then.
mm,
So that's one good
mm.
thing that I like to share with people, because I did that a few times during this whole pandemic, and every once in a while I just go run on the beach, and then I'll just jump in real quick, come out, and like, oh man, I feel like I'm literally like starting again, like I just got refreshed, kind of like when you go to the sweat lodge, similar, because that's a water
Mm,
ceremony. And
mm,
I even have a song that we got when we were at Standing Rock, um, when we were there, protecting the water. We got a song, we got a melody one morning, because we were all sitting around the Cannonball River. We were eating breakfast, and we stand around the river talking, and it was really nice that day. The weather was really nice, like probably like August, and then this eagle flew over on the other side of
mm.
the river, flew over this camp. We're like, look, the eagle's flying over that camp, and they were, so it's like, maybe he's hungry, he's checking that camp out. And then after he flew over that camp, he flew right over towards us, and then he just flew right over us, right over our heads like this, not even that high. And we were just like, oh my gosh, man, guys, pray up, put some tobacco out. So we got tobacco
Mhm.
and started praying. And then we got like, we need a song. Everybody sing a song. So there's about 4 or 5 of us. So everybody sang a song for that eagle. And then after that, we was like, man, we need a song. We need to make a song. So we got a song that day. I'll share it with you guys. We got a
Excellent.
song
Thank
right
you.
there. We kind of got the melody just kind of came, and then later on we added words to it. So the melody was just like, we were just like, man, I could think of a song, get a melody, and it was like, I'm gonna share it on.
Yes, please. Thank you.
You can hear me?
Yep. Take it
Yeah.
away.
So the melody was kind of came, and it was like, hey yo, hey da yo, hey yo, hey da yo, hey yo, hey da, hey yo, oh wait, oh, hey, 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 hey yo, hey da yo, hey yo, hey da yo, hey yo, hey da, hey yo, oh wait, oh, hey, 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 hey. Then we got the words. No woman with on da da chicks da ho hey da yo hey yo hey da yo hey yo hey da yo hey yo hey da hey yo oh hey do hey hey yo hey da yo hey yo hey da yo hey yo hey yo, oh hey do, hey 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 yo, hey do yo, hey yo, hey do yo, hey yo, hey do, hey yo, oh hey do, hey hey. No woman with on da da chicks da ho hey da yo hey yo hey da yo hey yo hey da yo hey yo hey da hey yo oh hey do hey hey yo.
Beautiful.
That was the song, like the melody just kind of came, and then we said,
Uh-oh.
well,
Oh,
we need to get words to that, you know. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
yeah.
you.
Okay. Yeah. So the melody came, then we added the words, and then we wanted to be a song that came from right there from the camp that we were at. It was our camp site and the Cannonball River, and goes right down. It goes right down a little ways, maybe like I don't know, a quarter of a mile, and then it connects to the Missouri. But the words are Noah Miniwachoni. Noah, it's good to see you. Good to see this water of life. I'm really happy to see this water of life. Um,
Mm,
that Tata Chixta, who um, I have love for this water of life. That's what it's saying. I'm telling you, I have love for this water of life. I'm gonna take care of it. I love it. That's what that song is saying. So that's what
mm,
where the words came from. So we've been sharing that song ever since like 20, what was that, 16,
mhm.
2016. So that song has been shared all over different communities. Share it with people, tell them they can sing it for sweat, they can sing it at the water, can sing it, for a prayer ceremony, whatever. But that's was inspired, and was me, my brother, my sister, my bro Myron Dewey, and one other guy was there. I can't remember who it was. I'll have to ask my brother. But we were all right there, and when that happened. So like I have a lot of love for my brother Myron, that passed away. That's not over. That's not over what happened to him too. We want to see justice. We want to see that taken care of. What happened to him, like all of our native relatives.
Mhm.
For
You know,
sure.
one
For
of
sure.
thank you so much for that song and that praying song. And one of the things that you mentioned when there was eagles flying over, and I'm only asking for people that might not know who are watching, why is it that you put down medicine, or why is it that you put down tobacco? Because there were eagles. What is that teaching?
Yeah, all the animals have. There's different teachings with all the different animals. In our cultures. Whether they're the fish, the birds. The animals, four-leggeds. Um, all of them. And so the eagle symbolizes, just like this United States, they took that eagle symbol, as that symbol of the United States. That's our symbol that we had, that connection to the creator. That was that one bird, that was sent here, down to earth, the creator sent to take those prayers, take those thoughts, those requests, back up to the creator, because it can fly higher than any other bird. And that's that connection they say came from the heavens, that bird was sent down here, and that we respect it like that. That's why we're the only ones that can have it legally, as tribal members. We can only ones that can have that eagle feathers. But that connection goes to, that's that connection between us and the creator. When we use it and we put that tobacco down, you might find a feather on the ground, or an eagle may just drop some feathers, like you find those feathers, or it flies around, you put that tobacco out right then, that's when they say right then, because you might look up again, you might look away for a second and look, it's gone.
Hmm.
So that doesn't, but people like, I mean, how does that make sense? They say it could just be here, just boom, just shoot off, take that prayer, that thought back to the creator. And so when we use the
Mm,
feathers, it's that connection to that bird, is that connection to the heavens. And that the eagle feather is kind of the in between, the buffer, so that we're not taking this, these things we're trying to do down here on Mother Earth, ourselves, that eagle feather is going to take it for us. It's going to send it on, take it the rest of the way. We do our part here. So that tobacco is that first medicine, like I was sharing. They said that was the very first medicine we ever had. That's why it's
Mm.
so sacred, and how people think of it. And this one grandma was telling me one time, she said, yeah, that tobacco used to be everywhere. It was all over the place. She said, but then people, they didn't respect it. They didn't take care of it. They didn't honor it. They didn't use it. Then it started going away. And then now you got to grow it. You got to find it. You got to search for it. It just doesn't
Mm.
come easy, because it got commercialized,
Mm.
they took it, and now people get sick from it. That's what they say. It's not what it was for. That's why people get sick
Yeah.
from it. And now kind of coming back to those traditional ways of how that tobacco was supposed to be used, when you're offering it, you're giving it to somebody for a prayer. If you're smoking it, rolling a smoke or put it in a pipe, you're not inhaling it all up into your lungs. You're just puffing it. You're just taking puffs, whatever your beliefs are, the 4 directions, the 7 directions, over yourself, like that's that connection with that tobacco to the smoke that goes up to the heavens. So it's kind of like each teaching it's all connected, but each piece is a teaching. So that's how it all connects together. And so like that's I've been given a lot of gifts recently, the last year or so, and I'm like, man, why are these people giving me things, But then I remembered, you know 15 years ago, um, when I was asking that, so people gave me this. I don't know why they gave it to me. And this elder said, "You earned it.
Mm,
You earned it. It's a gift. You did something to earn that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And that's all. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
thank you for saying that. And I'm getting a little bit teary eyed because I feel that same way in community. People tend to give you things when they appreciate you, when they respect you, when you've done something. And I, as an auntie, just want the best for my people that surround me. That includes my community. Always saying hello, shaking a hand, smiling.
Hmm.
And then people will actually, these earrings that I'm wearing, somebody gifted them to me, or a ribbon skirt or medicine, and I just appreciate that, what you said about, what your teachings were, or the teachings in general. And those gifts come with a lot of blessings, and I appreciate you for being here. We're coming to an end, and we have one last question. But I appreciate you, Brian. Really, I appreciate
Thank you.
the love that you have for our community,
Mm-hmm.
and for those individuals that are fighting, that are struggling with addiction or homelessness. You're
Mhm.
always there for them. You always provide them some type of teaching to make them better, to look at themselves and their own addiction, but to see beyond that addiction. So thank you so much for that. With all due respect, I do appreciate you. And our next question, our next and final question is, what message or advice would you like to share with Indigenous youth and listeners who are passionate about protecting Mother Earth and preserving their cultural heritage?
Yeah, I could say, like, you know, make that connection with your environment, your home, where you live, and everywhere you go, make a connection somewhere there. Make a friend. One thing my dad used to always say, is, make a friend, son. Did you make a friend? Did you meet somebody? And I wasn't real outgoing, for a long time. I didn't really know how to make friends, or like, I wasn't really trying to make friends. I just kind of just go do what I did and just leave. But over time I kind of started to, I guess, open up, to make a connection. So that's one thing, when you go somewhere, meet somebody, introduce yourself, tell them who you are, where you're from, get to know them. You might make a lifelong friend. That's one thing that I learned. I made some lifelong friends, along the way on that journey, because they say, well, we might run into them again way over here, meet them over here, and we run into them over here. And that it's been true. That's real. Like, I ran into people at the randomest places, and sit down, went to eat, caught up, and talked. I just did a wedding. I DJ'd a wedding a couple weeks ago, and it was my first wedding since before COVID, and I was just like kind of nervous and I was excited, and I went over there and I was asking the bride because I knew her family from South Dakota. I was like, "Who's coming from your family?" She's like, "Well, I'm not sure yet. Just some of my family." I was like, "Okay." And then when I got there, got ready, and then I seen her dad show up, and I knew known her dad for like over 10 years, and I knew his dad. His dad was a mentor to me. He passed away not too long ago, a couple years ago, and he was a ceremony leader and that connection in all these communities that I went to, was strong, and so her dad showed up and gave her away to the groom, and then me and him went and talked at the wedding. Then after the wedding, went to the coffee shop in the casino and talked for like 3 hours. And
Wow.
so that connection, when we go places and make friends, try to make good friends, find good people in your circle. Trust your gut instincts, trust your gut. If you feel good about somebody, trust that. If you don't, that's all right too. We're not always going to feel good about everything and everybody, but make that
Mm-hmm.
connection out here into your community, your land, get familiar with it. Like I said, I grew up in Oklahoma, that wind, cloud, lightnings, and thunder. That was how I grew up. I can see a storm coming. I can smell the rain before it gets here. I have
Mhm.
that connection. I really like that. I'm glad that I grew up that way. Some people get scared of tornadoes, but I mean, I've seen so many tornadoes. We put tobacco out. We put a hatchet in the yard. And that tornado went right around the house, went right around my dad's house. It hit the cottonwood in his front yard, but it didn't hit the house. So all those beliefs are really powerful. It's real. It's a real thing, like all these elders talked about, when I was growing up. It's like a real thing, and that's how I live right now. That's how I live my life. Like, I believe that way is my belief system. And when people ask, how did you get in a movie, how did you do this tour, it goes back to that vision, dream, prayer, and then the work to do it.
Mhm.
I love it.
Beats and
Thank you.
blessings.
Beats and blessings. Yes. So thank you so much for being here. It's been an amazing pleasure. Our next event is going to be on May 8th, 12 p.m. Hawaii time, 3 p.m. Pacific time. But with us coming to an end, is there any final words that you have? Would you like to sing us out? Is there anything that um, you would like to tell Turtle Island that's watching?
Man, I just want to say a ho, Noah Itty, thank you. Dude, I chicks the who. I feel good right here in my heart, my chest, my throat, where I breathe, where I sing, where I express myself. Here's my native bling right here. You guys know I'm always representing Culture Shock Camp. Brian Frejo, it's BF. My friend from Albuquerque. Oh God, what is her last name? Warrior, something Warrior. But yeah, just that, be yourself, be who you are, be who you want to be, that identity of who you are, your family, your clan, your people, where you come from. If you're one tribe or five tribes, learn as much as you can. It'll take you anywhere on this mother earth, and you'll know who you are. You don't have to try to be somebody else. You don't have to try to fit in with nobody. Just be yourself, and then the real people will see that. The real people will appreciate that. They'll respect
Mm-hmm.
that. So that's one thing
Mm-hmm.
that I want to share. It's good to see you guys, Jennifer. I still want to come to Hawaii. April, we
Come
got
on
events
over.
coming up. Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to plan a trip. I'm gonna do it this year. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a couple breaks this year, so I'm gonna just plan it out. And then April, we got some events coming up. LA, East
Yes.
Los, and so I guess I'm trying to think of a song, another song I want to sing um, for you guys. Here's a song because it's that time of year in the springtime. We're coming on all the gatherings, powwows, sweat lodge. We just had good sweat lodge the last couple weeks. I got to sweat on the night of the eclipse. That night we went to sweat down south by Rincon, and then I got to sweat when I was at home with the family and the community. And so those gatherings are coming. Get out there and you know connect with the community. Show up, support. Get there. Maybe you'll connect. You'll learn something. Here's a story of some songs. But here's a song from those gatherings that we have called the hand game. The hand game is that it's a social. It's social, but it was a ceremony that it was a prayer ceremony for us to continue to live, to continue to stay connected to who we were, our ways, our identity. that were going away at the time. They started it. It was a ceremony. Eventually got turned into a hand game, a social event, because they tried to outlaw it and ban it. It was illegal to do it. So now we have a hand game that's how we gather, and we connect with each other as a community. So that's one of the songs from that that it's got that spirit. It's an upbeat spirit, a spirit of a community. Lift our people up. Feel good. Enjoy yourself, and bring our young people with our families, with our elders together. No one anyway got gay. I no one anyway got gay. Chicks are pedo, do the hey oh hey. Chicks are pedo, do the hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey. I no one anyway got gay. I no one anyway got gay. Chicks are pedo, do the hey oh hey. Chicks are pedo, do the hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey. I know one anyway got gay. I know one anyway got gay. Chicks are pedo, do the hey oh hey. Chicks are pedo, do the hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey. Oh hey oh hey. That Pawnee style hand game right there. That's how we do it. You come to Pawnee, you're always welcome. We're gonna have hand game 4th of July that weekend. You want to come out? You know any Pawnees, or you want to meet some? Come out and play the hand game. We're gonna have They're having an actual hand game against the 4 different bands of the tribe, and so everyone picks their team and then they battle it out. And we eat and we powwow and we do all that. So guys, come out. You're always welcome.
Nice. I was really trying to hide my bones
Yeah,
for the hand games.
a good hider or a good picker. Some people can guess the bones. Some people can hide them really well.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Brian, again for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching in the live or in the replay. Remember to join us on May 8th. Thank you again, Brian, for being here. Jen, it's always a pleasure. And I just want to make the connection, Brian, if you go out to Jen's area in Hawaii, maybe you can do those blessing and beats out there. I'm sure that
Oh
they're
yeah.
Ono in Ono can be a part of it, and the peeps out there, I'm sure will welcome you with open arms as well.
Yeah, we got to talk, Jen. We'll plan it out. We just need the spot, be cultural exchange. And in our language, we don't say goodbye. We say, Kustujiet. I'll see you again. So let's talk. We'll plan it out. I'm ready to go to Hawaii. It's been about like 8 or 9 years since I've been there. It's
Yes.
Oh,
time.
wonderful. And a plug for Powwow in Paradise this weekend happening at Magic Island in Honolulu. Anyone that's listening,
Nice.
if you're in the local area, we're having a powwow, Ono, Oahu Native Nations. We're having our second annual powwow at the Magic Island. So please come on down. Come say hi to me. I'll be in the t-shirt booth. So I've been relegated to that duty. I've been kicked out of the kitchen. I won't be in the fry bread booth, which is for the better for everybody.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a plug too. I haven't really told anybody this, but about a month or so ago, I got contacted by the UCR, University of California, Riverside, and their powwow is Memorial Day weekend, the end of May, and they asked me to be head man. So going on Memorial Day weekend. I'll be there.
Memorial Day weekend.
Congrats.
Everybody go out to UCR. Thank you again for being here. And Asamoya, we'll see you soon. We'll see you on our next live. Thanks all.
Yep.
Have a great night.
See you guys. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
you.